Finally, Friday on a hump day, April 5th.
That's just mean.
It's 2 more days. You can't enjoy the wet weather outside, the fantastic ambience of here in the studio. Yeah, okay.
But you're condoning a weekend that's not here yet. I mean, you just had Beer 30, honky tonk time, teasing us about the weekend, and then George Jones comes in and just really drives it home, and now we all have to go to work.
Let's be honest. Let's go down and get a couple of Bloody Marys and just...
Call it a day.
Call it a week. Kicks 105.5. Good morning. It is 7:48, and joining me in the studio is Mike Barrett from Barrett Insurance Agency. As he does, we talk good policies every Wednesday. So, Mike, my youngest son. Have you met my youngest son, Tyler?
No.
Tyler.
I haven't met many of your family. I've only met your daughter and your wife.
Okay.
And maybe one son.
Okay, so daughter, as you know, receptionist here. Mm-hmm. Wife works at Littleton Regional Hospital. Mm-hmm. Oldest son is a house bum, and youngest son goes to LI. He's going to be 15 on Friday.
Oh, good for him.
The 15 on Friday means that we are making a trip to Newport. That way he can get his driver's permit.
Right.
Now, somebody had told me 2 opposing thoughts on this.
Oh, okay.
One person told me that as long as there's a permit, there's no necessity to add him to your insurance policy on your vehicle under a permit. And then another person said, oh, absolutely, you need to have insurance for him, even though he just has a permit. So what is the scoop?
The scoop is the first person was right. You do not need to add him to the policy as a permitted operator
until he gets an actual license.
And it's always recommended that you go, hey, I got a permitted operator, and I mean, but you don't. It's not anything that's going to change your policy. It's not anything that's going to be rated because he's not an operator. He's a permitted driver.
Right. As soon as the driver's license part comes in, then they're going to wax me.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but there's and actually that's an interesting thing to get into today because people celebrate birthdays all year long, but it seems like, yeah, isn't that crazy?
Weird.
But it seems like this is the time of the year where we're seeing a lot of licensed operators, a lot more than normal. And this is definitely the peak season going in from now until probably June, where we're seeing a lot of parents with that discussion like, I got my son or daughter getting a permit, or they're getting their license, or we're looking at getting a car for them. And there are some things to consider when you're doing that. Now, you're talking about getting nailed when your son becomes a licensed operator. How many vehicles do you have?
2.
How many vehicles will you have when he becomes a licensed operator?
2.
You're not going to get nailed as bad.
Okay.
Because he will be listed as an occasional operator on one of your vehicles.
Already pre-existing.
All right. Now, if you started going and saying, well, we're going to get him another car. So, okay, let's get him another car that's a liability-only car. Well, now, even if you say to me, well, it's not for him, I just have 3 cars. It doesn't matter. Almost every insurance carrier does it this way. So, vehicle count and driver count. If you have 3 drivers and 3 cars, every driver is getting rated as a primary. Now, in some cases, this is really an unfortunate circumstance. So say dad has a seasonal car. Say his dad has a Camaro or a Mustang that, that's just a fun time. That's a third car.
Let's actually think about that. Yeah, that's nice. But I don't.
You don't. Okay. All right. Yeah. Dream a little dream.
I had the top down. My hair was blown in the breeze. There was no children or wife anywhere to be seen.
See, it's funny. You had a nice vision. I saw Dino going down in the Flintstone-mobile. But that's an unfortunate circumstance because then you have 3 vehicles, but one vehicle is definitively not being driven by the youthful operator. But unfortunately, companies many times are going to require that every driver be listed as a principal and not an occasional. And that's a key word there because that's a lot of money in between those two. So
principal. Okay. So can't we instead pray that maybe my Corvette is an older Corvette and it's under like antique or only occasional usage?
Well, yeah. I mean, if it qualifies as an antique or a classic, then that does kind of
drops it down.
It puts it onto a different policy. Then you have 2 vehicles on your regular auto policy, and then you have another vehicle on a classic.
Because I know that people actually have classic vehicles. They write down antique. They get a cheaper insurance rate. You're only supposed to drive it on like Sundays, sunny days.
Sunny days or car shows.
Yeah. But you know darn well that every day in summer where the weather is half decent, they got the top down and they're speeding down the highway. So, that's, but you're not going to Big Brother. You're just going to.
Right. So, but there are definitely things to consider when your child is becoming a licensed operator. So, what kind of vehicle should you get for your young driver?
Not a single one. He can get a job and buy his own. I'm sorry, what? I went into
Well,
dad mode there.
It's tough though, because don't you want your child to have that extracurricular fun at school by playing sports and doing all these other things and being active and scholarly, so that college is a real vision instead of just working and trying to pay for a junker?
Yeah.
Come on, Dad.
I know.
Show some love.
You're right. Sorry.
Trying to help your son out here.
And I'm sure he's very appreciative of that. But
My dad, and I tell the story all the time, and it's a quick story. So my dad and my mom, actually my dad started the agency first back in '89. That's when he acquired it. I turned 16 in '91.
I graduated high school '89.
Good for you. That's good. I was 16. So my dad had 2 years of really good knowledge of the insurance industry because he'd gone through all the testing and done all the. He'd been working in it before that, but officially owned the business in '89.
Right.
That's just enough time for me to really be in a bad predicament when I turned 16. There's a reason my first car was like 3 different colors depending on which way you were looking at it, and had all kinds of issues, and still to this day remains my favorite car ever because I didn't care about it.
Right. You couldn't do anything.
But it was a liability-only junker that cost about $1,200 a year to insure, just for liability.
Back then,
Back in the day when I was crawling to school in the snow,
I had to sell Bessie and got only 3 magic beans and a $1,200 beater car with insurance.
This is the real thing. I used to take bottles back to the redemption center to fill up with gas. You can't do that anymore.
No, you sure can. And funny enough, I didn't grow up somewhere where they had that. And then I moved out to California, and my friend said, yeah, watch this. And we had rented a 1-bedroom room, and 7 of us lived in it. And we'd have these parties every night. And you could actually throw a bottle, and from nowhere, a transient person would come and grab it. So we would make an awful mess in the middle of the night, wake up, perfectly clean.
Yep,
Yeah, perfectly clean.
I remember this one time when I got a mail vehicle and I got a bunch of bottles and I drove to Michigan.
Did you say a mail vehicle?
Yeah, a mail truck. I drove to Michigan to get the 10 cent. I'm doing a Seinfeld thing. Never mind. Apparently, it went right over your hair that was blowing in the wind.
Well, no, because I was stuck on a mail vehicle. Like, what do you open up the trunk and look under the hood there? Okay, so time's up. If you would like to talk policies with Mike Barrett, I'm turning my back to you now.
Please.
You can contact him at
748-5224. Visit us online at thebarrettagency.com. Of course, we're on Facebook, Google+, and YouTube as Barrett Insurance Agency.
Your commercial's been running quite a while now on Kick, so you're going to refresh that?
Yes.
Yeah. Debbie already talked to you about that?
Yes, yesterday, and my wife. So, yes, actually, I've been meaning to. It's on my list of to-dos. So.
Yeah. Well, the fact that has been running, well, pretty much since you left hosting the morning show.
No, it did not. It's only a year and a half old.
All right. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Take care, Mike.
All right.